I slapped the communication panel with one trembling claw, my voice cracking like an adolescent Glorthian going through molt season. Captain Morrison, what a pleasant surprise. Lovely weather in this sector, isn't it? We were just passing through. Absolutely nothing suspicious happening here. Open your cargo bay for scanning. Vrekk made a strangled noise that sounded like a garbage disposal trying to process rocks. Don't do it. Once they confirm the child is here, they'll blow us into particles so small we'll achieve a new state of matter. They'll blow us up anyway if we don't comply, you absolute catastrophe of a life form. I spun toward him, my tail nearly taking out a support beam. This is your fault. Your fault. I told you we should have stuck to running medical supplies. But no, you wanted to make the big score. You wanted to retire early. The child's voice grew louder from inside the pod, forming actual words now. Mama? Dada. My blood pressure spiked, so high I was pretty sure I could feel it in my eyeballs. Oh, that's just fantastic. It's calling for its parents. Do you hear that, Vrekk? Those parents are probably on one of those 43 warships right now, and I'm guessing they're not in a negotiating mood. We could say we found it floating in space, Vrekk suggested desperately. Floating in space. It's a human child, not a rescue beacon. They don't just float around in convenient pods waiting to be collected like some kind of organic cargo. Another transmission cut through, a different voice this time. Female, shaking with barely controlled fury. That's my daughter in there. Her name is Emma. She's 4 years old. She likes strawberries and storybooks about dinosaurs. And if you hurt one hair on her head, I will personally hunt you across every dimension of space-time until the heat death of the universe looks like a pleasant afternoon. I had never heard a human voice before. I'd heard recordings, sure, but never directed at me with such concentrated maternal rage that it felt like being flash-frozen and set on fire simultaneously. Mrs. Parent of Emma, I shouted into the calm, there has been a massive misunderstanding. My colleague here suffers from a rare condition that makes him catastrophically stupid. It affects his decision-making and... Scanning commencing. Captain Morrison interrupted. We've identified the child's biosignature. She appears unharmed. That's the only reason you're still breathing. Vrekk collapsed against a cargo container, his eye stalks drooping. What do we do? What do we do? What do we do? We grovel. We beg. We throw ourselves on their mercy and pray to every deity in my 8,000-year-old religious texts that humans have some concept of forgiveness. I yanked open the containment pod before Vrekk could protest. Inside, a tiny human child with curly brown hair and enormous eyes stared up at me. She was clutching something soft and purple, some kind of stuffed creature. Hi, Emma said cheerfully. You look funny. I look funny, I repeated numbly. I look funny. We kidnapped her. She's surrounded by aliens, and she thinks I look funny. She held up her stuffed creature. This is Mr. Giggles. He's a dinosaur. Do you like dinosaurs? I like not being atomized by human warships, I muttered, carefully lifting her out. She weighed almost nothing. How did humans survive with offspring this fragile? Listen, Emma, we're going to take you back to your parents now, okay? Okay. Are we going on a spaceship ride? We're already on a spaceship. And yes, we're taking you to a different one where your very angry and probably armed parents are waiting. Vrekk had managed to crawl to the airlock controls. Incoming docking request from the human flagship. Accept it. Accept everything. Accept their terms, their demands. Accept invitations to their offspring's birthday celebrations, if they ask. The docking clamps engaged with a metallic thud that sounded remarkably like a death knell. The airlock cycled open, and through it stepped 6 humans in military gear, weapons drawn, followed by 2 more who I instantly recognized as Emma's parents based on the way they were vibrating with emotional intensity. Emma. The mother pushed past the soldiers and scooped up her daughter, tears streaming down her face. Baby, are you okay? Did they hurt you? I made a new friend. He looks funny, and his friend has 3 eyes. Can we keep them? The father, a large human with hands that looked capable of crushing my skull like a decorative fruit, turned to face us. His expression was unreadable, which somehow made it more terrifying. You took my daughter, he said quietly. In my defense, Vrekk squeaked. I'm an idiot. That's not a defense. I shrieked. Captain Morrison stepped forward, her weapon still raised. You're both under arrest for kidnapping, child endangerment, and being monumentally stupid, though I don't think that last one is technically a crime. It should be. We accept all charges. I said quickly. Prison sounds wonderful. 3 meals a day, a cell, protection from angry mobs. When do we start? Emma's mother was checking her daughter over with frantic precision. Sweetheart, how did these aliens get you? I was playing in the garden, and the green one said I could see a real spaceship. It was so cool, Mama. There were buttons everywhere. The father's jaw clenched. You lured her with a spaceship tour. I'm going to die, Vrekk whispered. This is how I die. But then Emma did something unexpected. She wiggled out of her mother's arms and walked over to us, holding out Mr. Giggles. You can hold him if you want. He makes me feel better when I'm scared. You look really scared. The entire cargo bay went silent. Armed soldiers, furious parents, 2 terrified aliens, all frozen by the simple gesture of a 4-year-old human child offering comfort to her kidnappers. Emma's mother's expression shifted, some of the rage giving way to exhaustion. Emma, honey, these are bad guys. But they didn't hurt me. They just looked scared the whole time. And the purple one kept saying we were all going to die. That's because we thought we were. I blurted out. Your species is terrifying. You assembled an armada in 3 hours. Captain Morrison actually cracked a smile. You're lucky she's safe. If she wasn't, this conversation would be very different and much shorter. We understand completely. We're terrible beings who made terrible choices. The father knelt down to Emma's level. Sweetheart, go with the nice soldiers, okay? Daddy needs to talk to these aliens. After Emma was escorted out, still waving Mr. Giggles at us, the father stood and crossed his arms. You're going to prison for a very long time. But because my daughter's safe and because you clearly didn't actually want to hurt her, you'll survive to serve that sentence. Barely. Thank you. We both said simultaneously. As the soldiers dragged us toward their ship, I turned to Vrekk. Never again. No more big scores. No more shortcuts. When we get out of prison in 30 years, we're running a sandwich shop. Agreed, Vrekk muttered. Humans are absolutely terrifying. Behind us, I could hear Emma asking her father if she could visit us in prison to bring Mr. Giggles. Somehow, that made everything even more surreal. We'd kidnapped a human child and survived. That alone was going to make us legends in the smuggling community. Stupid legends, but legends nonetheless. The emergency klaxons were screaming through the cargo bay when I realized Vrekk had done something monumentally stupid. Please tell me that's not what I think it is, I hissed, staring at the small containment pod humming ominously in the corner of our ship. Vrekk's 3 eye stalks swiveled toward me with what I can only describe as aggressive innocence. Define what you think it is. I grabbed him by his ridiculous frilled collar and yanked him close enough to smell the sulfur on his breath. That better not be a human spawn in that pod. Or so help me. I will personally shove you out the airlock and let the vacuum sort out your poor life choices. Technically, Vrekk wheezed, it's called a child, and technically, I didn't steal it. I liberated it. My 4 hearts stopped. All of them. Simultaneously. You liberated it. I repeated slowly, feeling my scales start to flush that dangerous purple color that usually preceded violence. From where exactly did you liberate a human child? From a family that wasn't even watching it properly. The tiny thing was just wandering around their dwelling, completely unsupervised, playing with some kind of primitive sound-making device. That's called a toy, you absolute moron. That's what human younglings do. They play. The ship lurched as we entered hyperspace, and I stumbled against the cargo containers, my tail whipping frantically for balance. Somewhere in the back of my mind, a little voice was screaming that we were all going to die horrible, creative deaths, and honestly, that voice was probably right. You don't understand, Vrekk continued, his voice taking on that whiny quality that made me want to bite something. The black market value for a human specimen is astronomical. We could retire, buy our own station, never have to run another smuggling job again. I laughed. It wasn't a happy sound. It was the kind of laugh that comes right before someone makes a series of terrible decisions that lead to their name being mentioned in cautionary tales across 17 star systems. Retire? Retire. The only thing we're going to retire to is matching funeral pods when the humans find us. Do you have any idea what you've done? You're being dramatic. Dramatic? Let me paint you a picture, you three-eyed disaster. When humans lose one of their young, they don't file a police report and hope for the best. They don't offer a modest reward. They mobilize their entire species like a hive mind made of rage and plasma rifles. They will tear apart every ship, every station, every asteroid belt between here and the outer rim until they find that child. The pod made a small chirping sound. We both froze. What was that? I whispered. I think it's waking up. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Not only did you kidnap a human child, but now it's conscious. Do you know what happens when human younglings get distressed? They emit a sound called crying. It's like a biological alarm system designed specifically to make adult humans go completely feral. Vrekk's eye stalks drooped. I thought they were valuable because they're rare specimens. They're valuable because humans are the most terrifyingly protective species in the known galaxy. They once started a war over a single colonist. A whole war. Ships destroyed, planets blockaded, treaties torn up. And that was an adult who could at least explain what happened. This is a child who probably can't even form complete sentences yet. The pod chirped again, louder this time, followed by what sounded distinctly like giggling. My communication console lit up with 17 simultaneous incoming transmissions. I pulled up the header data and felt my blood turn to ice water. Oh no. What? The transmissions. They're all from human vessels. Every single one. And they're all broadcasting on emergency channels. Vrekk's skin went from its usual greenish hue to something resembling spoiled milk. How many ships? I pulled up the tactical display and immediately regretted it. The screen was lit up like a festival celebration, each representing a human warship that had apparently dropped everything they were doing to converge on our approximate location. 43 vessels and counting, I said flatly. Destroyers, frigates, at least 2 dreadnoughts, and what appears to be a civilian fleet that armed itself with whatever weapons they could strap to their hulls. That's impossible. We've only been gone for 3 standard hours. Human time is measured differently when their children are involved. 3 hours is apparently long enough for them to assemble an armada that could level a small moon. The pod made another sound. This time it was definitely words, though I couldn't understand them through the translator glitch. But the tone was unmistakable. The child was calling for its parents. Every scale on my body stood on end. We're going to die, I said calmly. We're going to die in ways that haven't been invented yet. They'll probably invent new ways just for us. Vrekk was already backing toward the escape pods. We could ransom it. Ransom? Are you trying to upgrade our execution from quick to eternal torment? The communication console exploded with activity. A voice came through, cold and precise, with the kind of calm that was infinitely more terrifying than shouting. Unknown vessel. This is Captain Morrison of the Human Defense Coalition. You have something that belongs to us. I looked at Vrekk. Vrekk looked at me. The child giggled again from inside the pod. We were absolutely doomed. So what did you think? Did this story surprise you? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this sci-fi story, please hit the like button. It really helps the channel grow. And don't forget to subscribe for more mind-blowing science fiction stories every week. Turn on the notification bell so you never miss an upload. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next story.